Hey guys, Adam here, Blackfyre Productions, and I am here with a week in review. So basically what I'm going to be doing is going over the last week or so in my hobby and just showing you what I've been working on and what I've been up to. But first off, I know over January I probably wasn't really doing as much and wasn't as active in the community as probably what I should have been. But I had a bunch of stuff happen and a lot of other stuff, personal matters, stuff like that I had to deal with and sort of be present with. And that sort of ate up a lot of my time. But I have managed to get some hobbying done recently and start doing things. So you could probably have already seen some of the photos that I've taken, things that I've painted up recently and that. But anyhow, without further ado, let's dive into what I've been up to and involved in recently. So here we are with the week in review. Well, going into the review portion of the weekend review. So I'm going to start off here with this set here. I got this back in January for my birthday. Recently just finished setting it up. It is the Ubiquitous set by Nova Revol. And so what it is like a diorama effect with like lights. You can see lights here as well as here on the other side, and even up top you can't see them, but there's overhead lights as well. So you got to build it. It's sort of like a Lego set with wiring that you have to put in and connect on the inside. So like there's 2 layers that you have to put together for each of these panels on the bottom here. These pipes just sort of snap in and slide into place. And so what I've been doing, if any of you guys have been following me for some time, is for each of my videos I generally try to do a thumbnail that is like a cool scene of the models that were used through the game, you know, set up in a cool pose, sort of like they're battling or whatever. That has sort of evolved into doing some of photos with things like this, using fog machines to create like a fogged effect, colored lights and everything else. And so I've been really enjoying being creative with that photography recently. And so that's what I bought this for, was display for like photos. And like you can build various different styles or designs of dioramas and backdrops with this. Like this was the very first option and style that you could build with that Ubiquitous set. And so yeah, it was super well. It was super late, and I messed up some of the wiring at first, and I had to like unbuild it and like rebuild it. But like it was super fun to do, minus that little hiccup that I had because I messed up some of the wiring and the lights weren't working and such. But yeah, but that's what I got. So this is just like a 6-inch Star Wars Black Series figure that I picked up. I can't even. There's a gentleman from, I think, the Markham area. He sent me Bosk and IG-88 and Boba. You gotta have a Boba. Boba is just Boba. He's the first Mandalorian, you know what I mean, in the sense that made it big. And so, yeah, and then it also came with Luke Skywalker in his X-Wing pilot suit. So, like, yeah. So I've been doing a ton of photos with that. Well, actually, here. Take a look at some of these photos here. You know, I'm gonna have like Boba Fett, and I use Luke as the foreground character in this photo. And then I have the Darth Vader photo that I've recently done, and then I've done some Star Wars Legion ones as well with some of the models that I've recently painted as well. So yeah, but those are the type of photos that I'm going to be doing. I'll be doing some with my miniatures like I've done with Venom as well as these 6-inch action figures. In the better weather, I'm hoping to take them outside where I can start using sort of like I don't want to say fireworks, I guess mini fireworks, like I guess they're crackling balls is what other people have called them, stuff like that. But explosives basically, as well as lights and everything else to give that extra explosion sort of look to some of these guys. That's the whole idea, is I really want to get into photography a little bit more with these toys, and even with my miniatures, to set the scene and everything and go from there. In the long run, what I would like to do is maybe offer these pictures in prints at conventions that I go to or conventions that I run. In the case of FireCon, which is something that I'm going to be talking about in a video here shortly that I'll be posting, as well as sharing a link for the event page and everything else. But basically, it's a convention that we're going to start running here on Blackfyre Productions, with the three main focuses being the games that we play, so and are going to start focusing on. So Middle of the Earth SPG, Marvel Crisis Protocol, as well as Star Wars Legion. So those are the three systems that will be at FireCon. It will be held this year. I have booked the venue. I do have a date set, but it has not been announced. I'm trying to get a awesome logo / advertisement posted where I can make that announcement and then share the event page and get it all synced up so it happens at once. But again, it's not until like late in the year, so you guys have lots of time, and I'll let you guys know all about that shortly. But without further ado, let's keep on moving on with this week in review. All right, so the rest of the weekend review, I got some other stuff. I'm going to continue to discuss the toy photography for a little bit, and then I'm going to get into like my miniatures and stuff that I've painted. Toy photography, like I said, is something I'm going to be adding to the channel. I'm going to start doing videos on it, and it's just going to be like things that I do photo shoots of, so like behind the scenes type elements, and then you can see all the posts that I make in regards to the photos, whether it be on my Patreon page or elsewhere. But yeah, so something really cool. These are some of the guys that I picked up. So I got a Jin Urso from Walmart. You can see that it was on sale too for $19. So these usually run us $30 here in Canada. And this was on clearance, this one here. So I went and I took it to the counter because on the aisle it said $19 on the sticker, obviously, as you can see, but then on the aisle on the shelf said $14. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna buy this one because I have K2SO and I have Cassian as well. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do some cool photo scenes with those guys and maybe some stormtroopers and stuff like that that I'm getting. And so I took her up to the counter to pay for her, the cashier to pay for her, and the guy rung it in, and he's like, oh, that's a really good deal. And I'm like, yeah, $14, that's awesome, because it's below 50%. And he's like, oh, no, this is actually only $5. And I'm like, what? That's fantastic. So I ended up picking Jin up, took off outside from the Walmart that I was at, and they had a few other ones on the shelf, and there was only a couple that I might have been interested in. So I went back into the Walmart, and I ended up picking up Kira from the Solo movie. She was $5, as well as director Krennic. I picked these guys up, if I'm going to do, like, I'm hoping to find some more Death Troopers and do some, like, Death Trooper sort of scenes out in the woods and stuff like that, as well as, like, some Tatooine scenes and that, and that's where these guys are going to be useful. So he's going to be, like, directing the Stormtroopers and everything else, and Kira, I think, is what I'm going to use her as more of, like, a background character, because I'm going to make a Tatooine display, so that way I can do, like, some Tatooine scenes, whether it be if I can find a Mandalorian anywhere, a Black Series Mandalorian. That is what I'm really after. But like even like Boba Fett, I have some Jawas and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do like some Tatooine scenes with those, and she'll just be like a background character for $5. I really couldn't go wrong with that. So those are the Star Wars Black Series stuff that I picked up, and I'll show you some other stuff here in a second. Carry on with the photography stuff, the toy photography, and talking about background characters with Kira and that. My local EB Games, I guess they have like a dollar bin type thing. And so they had some like Call of Duty 6-inch toys that for like, I think it was like, I know it said dollar bin, but it was like $4 because of like my Edge membership type thing. And so I'm like, oh, these guys will be awesome for like background characters and stuff, because I got some other ones I'm going to show you here shortly as well, but along the Marvel Legends series, so more like current times. So I'm like, oh, these guys would be great like mercenaries in like photos, maybe with like other guys that I have. But like, yeah, so like I don't like they're super stiff. And like this guy's hand is like I can pull it right out of the socket, but for $4 I'll use them as background characters in like my Marvel Legends series photos that I'm going to be doing, because my wife, when she was at work one day, she went to Walmart near where she works, and she ended up picking up a War Machine figure for me. For $14, which is again one of the Marvel Legends, so they go for like $30, and also a Red Goblin as well. So the Red Goblin is super cool. Really liking them. These guys are super posable. I'm gonna do a scene. I think here my plan is to do a scene with Red Goblin and another toy that I have here. So I'll grab that guy right now. So going around, I think it was Sunday before my Marvel games day that I was running at Critical Hits Games. Oops, dropping stuff. At Critical Hit Games Lounge in Curtis, Ontario. I stopped at some Walmarts and at some EB Games. And that's when I bought like the Star Wars Black Series things for $5. Was on that sort of hunt for stuff. But I stopped at some other stores on the way up as well. Managed to pick up a Anti-Venom. Can you see that? Well, yeah, Anti-Venom there. So my idea is to take the Anti-Venom, put him down, and do a scene with the Red Goblin. So yeah, but like, yeah, those guys I'm going to do a scene with together. I just think the color contrast and the whole symbiotes thing will be pretty cool. But I also picked up two other guys. So you can't go wrong with a Wolverine in his X-Force costume at that, which is more like, I have a bunch of the X-Force comics and graphic novels where he was in this costume and he was leading them. They were like a militaristic sort of team, and it was just a really good comic. So when I saw him in his X-Force uniform, I was like, yep, gonna pick that up. And then lastly, for the Marvel Legends, I also found a Punisher that I'll be doing some sets with. I thought that would be pretty fun to use him with either like War Machine or with Wolverine, and do some photos with that. Talking about photos, I ordered, they're gonna be in hopefully in a couple of weeks. I ordered some, they're called pop-up dioramas by Extreme something. I cannot remember. I'll link them in the video description down below, but basically they give you like these cardboard pop-up dioramas. One of them is going to be like a interior of a spaceship or a sci-fi scene, which will be great for like Star Wars and stuff like that. And even like if I get some like Guardians of the Galaxies and stuff for the Marvel Legends that does like some space stuff, it'll be great with that. And then I got another one which is a warehouse, and it stands like, I want to say like almost 2 feet tall, where it's like a warehouse, and it's all cardboard, and you unfold it. There's like roofs and ledges and everything else that you can use for your dioramas and for your pictures. And so I'm going to be doing that here shortly with all of these toys that I picked up on my recent toy hunt and such. But yeah, so it's just something that I've been doing with my hobby. It's something I've been enjoying, the creativity of it and the photos. I hope you guys have been enjoying the photos. I plan on doing a lot more, and then in the near future, hoping to maybe offer those as prints through Blackfyre Productions. I'll find like a website that maybe like a Spreadshirt type things, but for the prints, and offer those to everybody, and that way you can choose your own, whatever one I have uploaded, and you can print it off as like a frame picture or whatever. Anyhow guys, let's move into the actual miniature size of things next. So if you haven't noticed, recently I've been painting up a bunch of Star Wars Legions, so Asmodee and Fantasy Flight Games, and in particular Steven, who's I'm very gracious for having them send me these things, but they've sent me a big box of Star Wars Legions to sort of help jumpstart my videos and content for Legion on the channel. And so I was talking earlier about how like January was a hard month, and you know, I was going through some stuff and had some things to deal with, and yeah, it got me right back into the hobby when I got this box from Asmodee and that. So I'm super thankful for them sending the items that they have to me, and hopefully they have turned out well. So the first guys that I painted up out of the box was Darth Sidious. So Darth Sidious and the Royal Guards. Let's see if you can guys get that in focus there. Hopefully you can. But yeah. So super easy. All I did is I did a contrast paint, zenithal highlights with my rattle cans first, And then I use a contrast paint, so the black over top of his robes, and then started accenting it with some blue. I cannot remember the shade of blue, but there's definitely blue highlights on there. And then same with the gray. You can see like some gray from the cloth around his waistband and stuff. And then I did some gold for the medallion around his neck. The cane was gray, and then I added a couple of washes to it, a brown wash and a green wash, and then everything got hit with a black wash to finalize it. And then I did his skin and stuff. But yeah, super easy to paint because doesn't have a ton of colors to worry about. And the models are a little bit bigger than what I'm used to painting, so it gives me that much space to play with. It's just like the Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff, which I do have some more of that stuff coming up here in the works as well. I got Vision and Winter Soldier here that I'll be painting up next. That's the next thing on my painting queue. I'm thinking about doing a video for painting those as well. So, but yeah, so Darth Sidious, I've got him, and then I got the Royal Guard. I'll show you some of those. So basically, everything was done with the corn red on these guys, and then I brought the colors back up with corn red as a base after a null oil wash, and then you can see that the red pants, they had some gray mixed into the red to change the color, and then with the helmet and stuff like that, I started using, I think it's like Evil Sun's Scarlet. It's sort of like a scarlet red where it's almost going towards like an orange color, and then for the armor, I put like a gloss varnish after spraying all these guys. But yeah, so that's the build up of these guys, and then the basing and stuff like that. And then you got the Electro Staff guy, same thing, you know. But those are my Royal Guards. The staff was basically like silver with a null oil wash, and then the ends where the power come out of, I did like a purple contrast. I think it's like Mage purple. I don't know. But yeah, so I did that over the metallics as well, just to give it like a purple hue at the end to sort of be like that energy that's building up. But yeah, so those are the Royal Guards that I painted up. I then moved into the Shore Troopers. I gotta say, I thoroughly enjoy these guys. Really do like them. And they're super easy to paint. Not as easy as the droids for the Separatists, but they are super easy to paint. So basically what I did is, it was a Wraithbone spray. I used Skeleton Horde as the base armor, and then I used, what is the dark brown, like Cygor brown for the cloak. Or for the cloth, and then that got a null oil wash. The armor got some highlights and stuff like that with Ushopti bone, and then I think it was like a little, it was actually like a khaki color first, then Ushopti bone, just to sort of help give some variations. The blue was like Thousand Suns blue with a black wash over it, then brought back up to that blue as well, and the gun was just black. I think it's Black Templar's contrast paints because it was super quick, with some gray silver over it. I think it was Lead Belcher, and then null oil wash again. The visors are actually the Thousand Suns blue mixed in with some metallic medium, and then a black null oil wash over it to give it sort of like, I don't know if you can see it there, but there is some blue in the eyes. But yeah, so super easy, really fast to paint these guys up with contrast paints and that. And they look half decent. Like it wasn't a lot of work to get them to this standard, and because they're basic troops, you know, I don't mind doing that work. The basing on all these guys, all it is Phileo like dark earth, and then I did like a Steel Legion drab dry brush over it, and then like a Administratum gray. Again, I'm using GW paints, dry brush in sections, and then combined it with a light sort of khaki color, a light brown color. The tufts of grass are just from, these ones are from, who are these ones from? Oh man, I can't even remember. But yeah, they're just like, I got like Highland tufts and dry grass and like some sort of plant like there. Army Painter, that's who these ones are from. So, but yeah, so I just stick them on, and you can see like I groove the lines into the Vallejo sand and texture paint there. So, and then Steel Legion drab just on the base. But yeah, so that's the mortar guy that I did as well. So same thing, with him, same style. And then the mortar itself is just lead belcher, dry brush with some iron breaker, and then a couple layers of Null Oil wash. That's it. But yeah, and then you got some bronze on there as well. Can't remember the name. I think it's like Rune Brass or something like that for one. And yeah, but yeah, so that's that. And the last guy I painted up recently was the Darth Vader Operative. So I really enjoyed painting this guy up. It's the first time I painted up a Vader. So I was trying to do him some justice, but yeah, so I did. You can see the gloss varnish on his helmet. Hopefully you can pick up the red glow effect. You can see it better by the looks of it on in person than you can than on the camera. Yeah, but you can see the edges. But yeah, that's my Vader. So I did super easy. It was all like black contrast paints and then built back up and with layers of gray on the cloak. The lightsaber was reds built up to like an off-color red, and then I used like a glazing for the glow effect. You can just see it, but you can see it in person and in the photos that I think I shared there. So I've already painted up for my Separatists. So the next thing for me for my hobby, when it comes to miniatures, I painted up a batch of Separatist droids recently, not in the same week and time frame that I did all this stuff, so it will be in my next week in review. But I got my first unit of B1 battle droids painted up. They're done in a Geonosian theme. And so they got like a nice orange base and everything else. I'm working on a Winter Soldier and Vision for Marvel Crisis Protocol, and then I'm going to jump into doing Dooku and the rest of the B1 battle droids, so that way I have 3 troop units and the commander for Legion, and then I'm going to start working on the Droidicas. The Droidicas, my plan with them is basically lead belcher as a base coat, and then there's a blue contrast paint, so that way the metallics will still shine through, and so I'll use that as the base. And then like the dome sort of like pieces, which are like a coppery, I'll use like the Sigor Brown or something like that, like I used on some other stuff. I'm not sure, but it will look sharp, I think, by the time I'm done. Anyhow, guys, thank you for watching. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, ignite your hobby.